My name is Ben Domain, Managing Editor with WestfordCAT, and here's the October 13th edition of WestfordCAT News. The Planning Board on Monday reviewed a concept plan for proposed 530-unit development on Powers Road. The proposal falls under the MBTA Communities Multifamily Overlay District, which was approved at annual town meeting in April. Zom Living, a Dutch-based development company, is under contract to purchase the 37 Powers Road property, which currently houses Westford Earth Materials.
And have done a fair amount of work on due diligence. And where we've ended up is at 530 units, 4-story, surface parked, 1.5 spaces per unit. Everything really kind of by the book in your MBTA communities plan.
Brian O'Connor, an architect with Cube 3, shared conceptual plans for the approximately 35.5-acre site. He said, quote, "I think we feel really good about the transformation of that's a little more community friendly." O'Connor said that the developers have established a 100-foot wetland buffer, which allows for development on approximately 21.6 acres on the site. He said, quote, "That's the area we believe is developable and in an existing disturbed area. We have the benefit of using what's already disturbed as our development area." He later said that the, quote, "true buildable area is approximately 18.2 acres of the existing disturbed site."
What we're doing is we're proposing to develop those around the idea of a community here. We want to create a neighborhood that feels and smells and works like a neighborhood. We don't want a series of buildings that are just randomly placed in the fields.
He said that the aim is for residents to be, quote, "intimately connected to the site's green space." Managing Director of Zom Living, Jim Dunlop, said that the complex could pursue connections to other communities, like Bell Westford. Planning Board member Robert Schaffer questioned whether there would be residual environmental hazards to clean up on the site.
We've done the environmental phase 1, and the only thing that came out of that was some lack of paperwork on the removal of 2 underground tanks. And so we're doing more to nail that down.
Schaffer encouraged developers and elected officials to work to get developments, trails, and sidewalk networks in the area connected. Board Vice Chair Joan Croteau encouraged the development to, quote, "retain the character of Westford."
We're not looking for apartments that we see on Route 2. We're not looking for the modern downtown Boston apartments, not the things that we see in, Brookline or Cambridge.
Board member Dylan O'Connor suggested adding parking garage style developments as well as electrical vehicle charging stations on site. He said, quote, "It would cut down on the amount of asphalt and it would allow us to keep more green space, and I think you could position that as an amenity to the residents as well." Assistant Town Manager of Land Use and Economic Development Jeffrey Morissette said that not weaving connectivity into the project, quote, "could be the greatest missed opportunity." From WestfordCAT reporter Emily Collins, the Parish Center for the Arts bell may soon ring again. The PCA received $163,000 in Community Preservation Act funding at town meeting earlier this year to fund the restoration of their bell cradle, which holds the center's bell in place. Rajesh Puranik, the center's president of the organization's board of directors, said that since the tower sits 35 feet above the center, age and weather conditions have amplified the need for a restoration. He said, quote, "We are very thankful to the town for supporting this. I'm sure there's plenty of other places that could be using the CPA funds, but I appreciate that the town values the PCA enough to put this money in there." The center previously received $100,000 in CPA funding from town meeting in 2019 that funded the restoration of the south wall, which was completed last fall. This grant also covered the painting and restoration of some windows in the building. Painting and restoration of the windows on the south wall cost $100,000, while $163,000 will still be used to restore the bell cradle, but could also include some renovations to the windows in the future. Additional restoration projects are on the docket, including restoring those several windows and adding air conditioning in the center, though Puranik says those projects are, quote, "less urgent and may require fundraising from the community in the future." Westford residents participated in the Jimmy Fund Walk last Sunday, a fundraiser for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. 16 Westford residents participated in the Boston Marathon Jimmy Fund Walk on October 6th to raise money to support cancer research and care. Residents included Henry Carmichael, Megan Carmichael, Sherry Cullen, Wendy Ditmars, Rebecca Enos, Scott Folger, Laura Goodman, Sharon Gould, Jessica Gould, and Jeff Piazza. Thousands participated last year in the annual event that walks the same path as the Boston Marathon. They raised a record-breaking $9.4 million last year and more than $176 million in its 35-year history. Several of those residents, like Rebecca Enos, Megan Carmichael, and Laura Goodman, shared their stories with WestfordCAT. Read more on the story at WestfordCAT.org. In other town news, the town of Westford recently received compliance with the MBTA Communities Act after a bylaw was passed at April's town meeting to allow for additional multifamily housing development as of right. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee will host its Indigenous Peoples Day celebration on the town common on October 14th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Additionally, the town is seeking survey responses from residents by October 31st on their input to shape Westford's sustainable future. Take the survey at westfordma.gov. That's all for this week. I'm Ben Domain, and you're watching WestfordCAT News.